The topic is huge. Please, from your side, can you just give me 1-2 sentences of what you think, what you're doing at the moment as Commerzbank, adding on to what Mr. Olivieri just already said, where you think you have the biggest impact at the moment for companies, SMEs and large corps?
Yeah, which is both the client spectrum that we serve. Obviously, it's easy to say what is the purpose of the bank. We serve the companies, the economy, and fund and finance the economy. And as such, in the specific terms of sustainability, it's of course funding the transformation. We just also had the small discussion, what is the difference between transition and transformation? I guess transformation is a little more than the transition. We fund and we finance, of course, the transformation of the companies to a new, more sustainable world. And that's pretty much the purpose of our bank and of many other banks also, of course.
Yeah, with us, it's, as a promotional bank, the biggest impact, I suppose, it's really the financial part. So we are investing in a lot of companies, startups, but we are doing also all the housing, social housing financing in Hesse, for example, and then we are at the same time financing the ecological transformation of these buildings. I think that's the big. If you talk about figures, that's the biggest impact. Much more important, if you ask me, is that we are also understanding ourselves as an ecosystem shaper. So bringing people together. And to quote Eckhard from Hirschhausen, he just told this morning, we have to bring in the impact to people. We have to bring in the people, and we have to connect people. That's the most important, if you ask me. We have to connect the people. And we're doing it with a lot of stuff like we have started the Tech Quartier here in Frankfurt. We just have brought in together with other companies like MEAG, like the universities here in Frankfurt and Darmstadt, Ryan, that's also a startup hub. And so we try to connect startups with SMEs, and I think there's a lot of to do and there's a lot of impact in this connection.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. So I think we all know what to do. Let's talk about how do we walk the talk. So what I see when I'm out there with the companies, that there's some struggles, of course. So we always talk about what's going well. Let's dive a bit more into what are the struggles of SMEs, but also large corps, and where can you as a bank really help, and what are you doing? Do you have a great example?
Of course, we have at the end the ability to tailor our services and our products based on, is it a multinational or is it a smaller, medium-sized enterprise? And to be honest, the requirements are also pretty diverse in terms of large corporates having multiple ESG experts and specialists and coming to us with very concrete and precise questions on a specific product or service that they need the advisory for. Whereas on the part of the smaller or medium-sized companies, mostly what we object from our relationshiping and our given contacts and client sides, we see there's less of the capacities on the sides of the companies. They are facing various different problems or issues and challenges that they need to face in the upcoming years, and there maybe a little more groundwork is required from our side to have more of a general consulting or service, and just to be at the side. Exactly. I mean, of course, at the end, it's products, specific bank products, which are on the one hand standardized, on the other hand, for us with the ESG link, be it a rating-linked loan or a KPI-linked loan or a use of proceeds product. But on the other side, of course, any service that we are not the highest experts in, we have, as our CEO just described briefly, we have the chance to also forward our clients to the base of the Impact Solutions platform. And there you have the variety of any company doing strategy consulting, doing technical consulting. ESG data is a big issue. We see many people here also during the days speaking about this. It's diverse.
Mm-hmm. So we've had KPIs. I think Mr. Olivieri said it, and you just said it. KPIs. You get what you measure, right? Do you have any experience with who you're working, how they use the KPIs? Do they have to be reasonable? Do they have to be comparable? Can you give us good examples what you see?
I mean, at the moment, all of us are really searching. And I mean, yesterday I had a call with all the promotional banks, for example, in Germany, and the KfW has developed a system of impact measurement and impact definitions that we will in the future use all together as a promotional sector. And at the moment it's much of trying in the whole sector. And the second point is, if I'm talking about an SME or with an SME, they aren't capable to serve their different banking partners different kind of data. I mean, they can't do that the whole day. They have to do products, they have to promote their products, they don't have the time to fill in something like 20 Excel sheets. Who will do all this? So what we do need is standardized platforms, and there are some ideas at the moment. We are trying a little bit. We are part of a bigger project the Federal Republic of Germany is inventing, and there's an Eurodat system. They're trying to do projects and to combine different players from the banking system, IT systems, so that we have platforms where anonymized data of the SMEs can be laid down, so that the banking system can go to this data and take it out.
Perfect.
And that's something we will need, because we have to lower the burden for the SMEs, and at the same time for the startups, for example. I mean, if we are talking the whole day about data, about how the systems will work, how we can finance stuff, I mean, we have to do the products. We have to bring in the impact, and that's the most important part. And we are just kind of transition partners, nothing more.
If I, Stephanie, may just add on exactly what you say. And also, I mean, we are in the middle of the room also. It's also our living room, in which we now have to face the issues and the challenges with regards to IT or data landscape. One, for our own operational work and objectives, and secondly, of course, when collecting the data, the who collects the data, which data is collected, who's responsible for putting this into a specific system. Is it a system that you already use? Do you build up a new system? You can discuss for years on that. And at the end, who is processing the data and who is the data owner? For us to have a smart solution to say, okay, it's not, as you say, ask the client for 25,000 data fields, but make it simple and simplify as much as possible.
So if I imagine we have an SME, they have an issue, they approach your key account manager in a branch somewhere in Germany, how do you help them to understand what to give to the customer? I think it's super important, right?
Exactly. So what we have, I think in one of the panels, I heard this yesterday, and I assume we're sitting here and maybe we are named ESG experts, but nobody of us has been doing ESG for 20, 30, 40 years. That's can't be the case. We need much more education on the bank side, on the client side, so that these topics are handled with more quality as much as possible for us to remain efficient. On our side, to answer your question, if we go out as a relationship manager or as an ESG expert, for now we also try to implement ESG multiplicators towards the regions, so that we build up the expertise in the branches across Germany. We just move to the client and have a dialogue with him to assess on which level the client is and what the main issues or purposes are for this client, which challenges this client faces, for us to be a solution maker and provider, of course, at the end of the day.
You want to add, or?
Yeah, as promotional bank, we are not directly, most of the time, not directly with the clients, but via the commercial banks or the saving banks. But what we additionally try to do is to bring together SMEs and startups. We're doing impact weeks, for example, and trying to bring in SMEs that do have a problem, for example, an impact problem. And we are just starting within the next weeks the impact challenge in the tech quartier, for example. We have just done something nearby with Ryan also, and they bring in the problems, and then we are searching for startups that have possible solutions, and they are developing these kind of solutions for these SMEs and also for corporates, obviously. I mean, we need some people who are paying the bill, and that are mostly the big companies. And they are bringing in real solutions for real problems, and then they're connecting together. And sometimes something happens, sometimes something develops. But I mean, we are all trying, and there's also the failure part. And we are all of us now. I mean, there is also a possibility that something is not working, but that's part of it. I mean, we have also, as banks, as in the same way as SMEs, as startups, have to change our mind and to try something out and to bring a new idea.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. So if you try out and you have to find a new way, we're talking about maybe disrupting, not only transforming, do you also see that some have to transform their business models in order to be resilient for what's coming? What's happening there? Can you just elaborate a bit?
I mean, we have seen in the latest years financial crisis, and companies needed to be more resilient. We have seen coronavirus and the world changed. We have seen the war. We have seen the shift of trade corridors. We have seen limitations with regards to commodities, available commodities. And all that, of course, in the experience of companies, help them, also us, of course, to be more resilient and to set up some sort of protection field and risk management system as to scenario X, Y, Z, what happens and what is my ability to adopt. And to me, it's not a question, obviously, to say, do I have to transform? Yes. The good thing is corporate responsibility has been there ever since. We don't start at zero together with the companies. And secondly, well, we will never finish or see the finish line, because transition will never end. But it's a journey, and you just have to find your most key or most essential steps for you to be resilient. Be it shift of your products, be it shift of the platform in a more technological way, in a digitized world. I think every entrepreneur has his or her vision to lean towards a new tomorrow, and the good ones will survive. That's as easy as it is, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think we see a lot of companies that have to transform. For example, in Hesse, there are a lot of companies that are suppliers to the big car manufacturers, and they are still producing stuff for the motor. So there's a real need for the whole business model, a change of the whole business model. And the problem is that if we are looking, no offense, to the classical banking sector, they have the situation that the earnings of the companies will go down. The future, it's obviously not the best. And at the same time, these companies have to invest, especially these small companies have to invest in new technologies and in the change of the business models. So at the moment, there are a lot of debates on the federal level, on the regional level of the Länder in Germany to bring in transformation funds because we will need equity financing for this. Because the ratings will go down, the banking system will say, okay, yeah, I'm risking here money, I have the regulation in the back, so we will need equity financing for these new investments, and we will need transformation funds and fundings. And if you ask me, we will need both. So we have to bring together the private and the public money to give these companies the chance to transform in the future. Because if we talk about jobs, I mean, impact won't work if the people are not employed, if they don't have something to eat, and we won't face the change in the system if we're not addressing these points. So we have to help them to do the change. And just to save this company in Dietzenbach, small part of Dietzenbach even, I mean, if there are 50 people employed there and this company is closing down, then we will have nice figures on the political side and there won't be an impact to the better.
Just to add on to this, practical example, so we will need to help them, as you say, but at the same time, we also have to have the strict agenda in terms of what do we see, what is your 3, 5, 10 years goal and your transition period, your strategy. And once we see, yes, this is future-proof, more or less, according to given standards and definitions, yes, we are at your side. Do we today stop financing brown companies? You can say it depends. Is it the new project? Is it the new fossil fuel project that needs to be financed? Of course not. We have a fossil fuel guideline in Commerzbank. We don't take up new clients. With existing clients, we want to have precise strategies with regards to the transformation. But do we cut immediately the financing and the funding? Of course not. Then you don't give him the opportunity to shift and to lean towards a different new business model, as you say.
Yeah, and then we're back to community building, right? So if someone does something really good, share it with your ecosystem, try to get ecosystems together. And I think you already elaborated a bit about what you're doing. I think Commerzbank does something similar. You bring together companies who are in the transformation. You try to make one understand what somebody else is doing and how you can just connect. And I think that's really amazing too.
Of course, I mean, there is congresses, corporations, we have roundtables, we have Mittelstandsbank forums where we have regional get-together, and the companies amongst themselves can of course also learn and elaborate on experiences that they have. And it's our duty to serve on this level. Also, if I look into, for instance, our aim to run for renewable energies, we have been doing this since the 80s, so for 30, 40 years, having financed wind parks and so on. So much is not new. Yes, we give it a new shape. We have to elaborate. We have to speed up. Exactly, we have to speed up. But as other banks also do, we have green products that we say the use of proceeds. This is precisely for this specific case that, according to criteria, can be leveled as green. Then you will also be able to meet the requirements from regulatory bodies and to say, this is my ratio in transformation finance, this is my ratio in sustainable finance, this is my ratio in taxonomy aligned volumes, and that's what we need to handle.
Yeah, so looking at the time, before we wrap it up, let's play pretend. Let's give you one wish. If you had one wish at the moment, what would you change within your daily work, within your company, within your field of influence? If you could just change it like this, what would you change? Maybe Johannes, you start.
If I would have a wish, I would like to have much more investment money for startups who do the impact. That would be great, and some more products like impact-linked loans, stuff like that. I mean, I would wish to have something more to do more in the sector.
Brilliant. Any wishes?
Of course. Can I have two in one sentence? No. If it's just one, honestly, it would be shift, be it a bank or a small or large company, shift from the perspective to have an island of ESG experts, and if something with regards to those three letters is asked, everybody points to one direction, but rather have this fully integrated into your company, into your core DNA of the company. And not everyone has to be qualified in every aspect, but the risk management system or the risk managers and officers have to have the ESG qualification specifically on their ground, front office on their ground, strategy, sales management, whatever, or HR, whatever the units are. The higher the standards and the qualification, the tailored qualification in the company, the better the results will be.
Okay, well, I think there's so much more to be discussed. Let's see what happens if we maybe sit here in 5 years.
Yeah.
See what will happen. You're both available on LinkedIn, so anybody who wants to reach out, feel free. I know you're going to be around a bit, both of you, right?
Yeah, and if you want to learn something about the possibilities of promotion, there's Nina at the Startup Hub from our team and telling you something about the possibilities of the promotional financing of projects.
And speaking of promotion, I heard the best coffee is right next to the Commerzbank stand here. So feel free, it's for free, and grab a coffee.
All right, thank you so much for all the insights, for just giving a bit of grip of what's going on. I think much has to be done. I know we're not nearly where we want to be. And yeah, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.